Donald Trump is stealing from you every single day, and he's getting caught doing it. And I'm not just talking about the money he siphons from the government or the grift he pulls through his position as president. I'm also talking about something bigger. The culture he's taking from you, the information he's trying to control, and his growing efforts to censor the media. That reality was exposed even further by a new breaking bombshell report revealing a bribe tied to Trump, designed to keep damaging information about him out of public view. We're going to break it all down. The secret meeting, the bribe, and exactly how Donald Trump is stealing from all of us. But before we get into that, if you could take a moment to like this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button. It really helps support our work. Now, before diving into this latest breaking report, we need to start with a story that still hasn't received nearly enough attention during this administration: Donald Trump's censorship of the media and how he's carried it out with the help of his ally, Larry Ellison, who plays a key role in this story. So let's start with that report right here.
As Donald Trump is trying to use and sometimes abuse power and to enrich or promote himself. The Kennedy Center honors were last night. He made an unusual choice to host, although a president could do that, but then went farther and said he wants to shape culture in ways that the government is directly restricted from doing. As you've probably followed, we've mentioned on our air, there's a big deal to do a merger with Netflix. There's other companies launching a hostile bid to get involved. We'll get into all that, but bottom line, big picture, those things are reviewed only in a nonpartisan way by the government for the benefit of the public interest, for consumers, to make sure there's not a monopoly or that you were charged double for Netflix. They don't usually involve politicians or the president directly interfering for their own interests. That's the context for Donald Trump discussing the potential merger of what are two of the largest media companies in our country and also with global reach, Netflix and Warner Brothers.
That's got to go through a process, and we'll see what happens. Netflix is a great company, and they have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell, and I'll be involved in that decision too. But it is a big market share. There's no question about it. It could be a problem.
Fact check, true. It is a big market share, and that is a legitimate thing for the government to test. That's why we have a whole antitrust division of the DOJ. But legal check, false. It's not for Donald Trump to be personally involved. Indeed, we have the independence there at the DOJ, just like you have it in other economic areas or interest rates, because for many, many years, it has been settled precedent and better practice for us, the public, to not have politicians putting their thumb on the scale. If you go back far enough, this was an issue in the first Trump term when he was seen as and widely criticized for interfering in a Warner merger involving AT&T. So some of the same players, but different now, different companies involved. And then they were denying it. Then, in first-term version of Trump, most people around him said he's not doing this because he's concerned or against CNN or personal reasons. They denied it. Now, Trump all but admits it, saying he'll be personally involved, and there's more. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is now part of the hostile bid by Paramount. That's what I mentioned. They're basically the different company backed by the Ellisons, who are very close to Trump. They want to buy Warner instead of Netflix. So this is a huge conflict of interest to have the president say he wants to be personally involved, while yet again his family pops up taking sides and presumably being in line to make a lot of money if they win. There's also this Trump supporter pictured here in the Oval Office. Now the Ellisons can have a relationship with Trump or any other politician. And as long as the government is not cheating or corrupting power at the federal level to help them, the Ellisons, like everyone else in our big capitalist free speech economy, have every right to publish and broadcast anything they want. Please don't mishear me to be suggesting that there are some good billionaires and then bad billionaires and all that kind of talk. We have a free market, and we publish a lot of material through the airwaves, through print, through companies. The New York Times is a newspaper. It's a journalistic outlet. It's also a publicly traded company. That's fine. But it's not fine and could even be an abuse of power if the government, whoever the politician, in this case Trump, are putting their thumb on the scale, trying to approve, pick winners and losers, or punish their political First Amendment protected opponents and critics through this process. And as Trump said, we're talking about major market share. We're talking about some of the largest companies with the most media in the country. Now, as for the Kennedy Center, Trump also used that backdrop to talk about how he views himself as less of a public servant of the people with a temporary time in office and then return to being a citizen, and more like a kind of autocratic, self-dealing monarch.
You will hear conservatives complain nonstop about how they're being censored or they're not seeing themselves represented in the media, but what they're really upset about is the fact that they don't have friends and that people don't like them. Censorship in media is the deliberate effort that Donald Trump has taken to silence voices like Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert or Mahmoud Khalil or the Associated Press at large. That is real media censorship. People willing to call out a genocide being perpetrated by the Israeli government, calling out Donald Trump's illegal deportation agenda, all of those things that has led Donald Trump to try to silence all of us. But he's not just doing so with threats, he's also doing it with the carrot. It's not just the stick from Donald Trump, and that is what was revealed with Donald Trump and his new best buddy Larry Ellison in this report right here. New Donald Trump privately said Larry Ellison assured him that he would be making CBS News more pro-Trump after acquiring Paramount. Trump has privately said that Larry Ellison assured him that CBS would be shifted more in a conservative direction after the Ellisons took control of Paramount, according to two people familiar with the remarks by Trump. Larry Ellison, one of the richest men in the world, is a major MAGA donor and a strong Trump supporter. He's also made the largest individual donation to the IDF in history, tens of millions of dollars. This is the same Larry Ellison who reportedly joked that The Late Show with Stephen Colbert should end because Colbert made Donald Trump feel sad. More importantly, Ellison reassured Trump of what we're now seeing play out in real time. CBS News shifting in a pro-Trump direction. And let's be clear, this isn't about becoming slightly more conservative. It's about outright lying, burying stories that matter, and covering up truths that should be reported. So why is Larry Ellison doing this? Because he wants to expand his media empire, and to do that, he needs Donald Trump's approval. But Ellison's interests go far beyond media control. He's a billionaire seeking enormous power and influence, particularly in shaping culture and pushing narratives that align with the Netanyahu regime. Even more significantly, Larry Ellison stands to gain massively from the U.S. government's rapid and deeply alarming investment in artificial intelligence. Investments that will benefit an incredibly tiny elite while harming the rest of us. As the founder of Oracle, a company rooted in government and intelligence work, Ellison profits directly from housing and harvesting the massive data sets used to train AI systems. Data storage is central to his business model, but it doesn't stop there. Ellison, working alongside figures like Peter Thiel, isn't just interested in what you do online. They want your health data, your travel data, your daily behavior, everything. Ellison has openly said data should be collected to keep people on their best behavior. Donald Trump wants to expand a surveillance-driven police state, and Larry Ellison wants to be his partner in building it. This isn't just about cultural influence. It's about control over your everyday life, monetizing your personal data, and handing power directly to Trump while billionaires get even richer. Larry Ellison promised to help Donald Trump tighten that control, and he's delivered. In return, he gets billions more dollars. That's what's happening right now. And it's terrifying. In the most corrupt administration in modern history, it's not just the billionaires. The cabinet secretaries are deeply involved too, and Jen Psaki broke that down right here.
Today, ProPublica published quite a scoop about Trump DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, that in any other era, I should say, would be a career-ending scandal. But to understand the pattern of corruption of this woman, we just have to zoom out just a little bit, just for a moment. Because since Noem took over DHS at the beginning of the year, she's become known for appearing to be more obsessed with putting on various costumes than doing her actual job. I mean, she donned a bulletproof vest just to talk to her own agents. She wore a Customs and Border Patrol uniform on Fox News. And of course, she is constantly, and I mean constantly, throwing on a cowboy hat and riding horses. Always with plenty of cameras around to capture the moment. But Noem's apparent obsession with image actually goes much further than just putting on costumes, because she has directed more than 200 million taxpayer dollars into TV ads to promote her work at DHS. And just to put it in context, that is nearly twice what DHS spent on ads altogether in all of last year. And the content of those ads have already been a scandal kind of in and of themselves.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border.
And if you were wondering who exactly the target audience is for that, DHS spent $30,000 to run that ad, the one I just showed you, specifically in the ad market where Mar-a-Lago is. Now, as much as spending tens of thousands of dollars to make sure your ad plays on the TV near the president is a bizarre waste of taxpayer money, $30,000, it turns out, is a drop in the bucket compared to the more than $200 million DHS has spent this year making and airing ads. And the rest of that money is where the story gets truly bonkers. I mean, since March, we have known that DHS skipped the normal competitive bidding process when giving out the contracts to make and air these ads. DHS claimed that because Trump declared an emergency at the southern border, they didn't have to waste time getting competitive bids. And that brings me to the first part of ProPublica's big scoop today. Because it turns out that the majority of that no-bid contract money, $143 million taxpayer dollars, went to this kind of mysterious LLC in Delaware. An LLC that was created just days before it got that no-bid contract, just days.
This is the most corrupt administration in history by a wide margin. And it's not even close. That's why it needs to be called out every single day, and that's exactly what we're going to keep doing on this show. If you want to support that work, as always, hit the subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.